Hello everyone, welcome back to Spurs from the Stands. I'm Sarah and today we are running down the much awaited game tomorrow, which is Tottenham Hotspur versus Atletico Madrid, or Atletico Madrid versus Tottenham Hotspur, away at the Madrid ground. So while you all just jump in, I don't know whether to put the light on before we begin actually. Let me go stick it on before we begin. Cool. I think we're all set. How are we all feeling today? What's the vibe? Oh no, don't tell me it's a blurred picture. Please. Hold on. Is it blurred? How's this? Is that better? Is that better? Are we still blurry? I've just changed the resolution. Oh dear. Screw my life. What is going on? Why are we blurry? Hold on, let me see what the situation is. I'm having a nightmare with this tech, aren't I? It's looking a little bit better now. I've just downgraded the quality. Picture's okay. Amazing. I'm having a nightmare with this tech, aren't I? I'm having an absolute nightmare. Anyway, guys, how are we all feeling ahead of the game tomorrow? I know that the team right now is a bit like, well, we've said Jekyll and Hyde many, many times before. And of course, it has been quite a traumatic week for a lot of us. So much so that I have my stress ball here. And I also have my pendulum because I've been predicting. Some of you like Sarah, look into your crystal ball. Can you tell us if we're going to win the Champions League? Well, I've been asking the pendulum here, and the pendulum thinks we're not getting relegated. And we are also going to make it through to the Champions League next round. So let's hope that the pendulum is right for this one. So yeah, I've been having a little dig around and looking at some stuff ahead of the game tomorrow. And what's crazy is Tottenham have won more times in their last 17 European matches than our previous 48 domestic games. So in Europe, we've had 12 wins in our last 17. And in the Premier League, we've had 11 wins in the last 48. So if you couldn't pick a team that was more Jekyll and Hyde than Tottenham Hotspur, I don't know who it would be, to be completely honest with you. So look, all the odds are against us in terms of the Premier League. And we all know what happens when it comes to European nights. And tomorrow is certainly going to be an interesting game because in terms of our sort of lineup and what maybe that might look like, and we'll dive more into that a little bit later, although at this point, we don't really know what direction Igor Tudor's going to go. But look, if we're going to go three at the back, this is the game to do it because you've got Danso, you've got Van der Ven, and you've got Romero all fit, ready, and not on red cards for this game. So compared to our Premier League form and compared to our Premier League, let's just say, not performance, but discipline. Of course, our discipline in the Premier League, in the Champions League, is much, much more different than it is in the Premier League because I think we've only had one red card in our Champions League. And of course, we're 24 games unbeaten at home in the Champions League. So Champions League competition for Tottenham Hotspur seems to be a whole different team, and not just a different team, a different squad, a different mindset, a different outlook. And it's just so crazy how essentially we've become these two separate teams where in the Premier League we can't perform, but in the Champions League nights, everything seems to change. And I don't know if that's something to do with the camaraderie in the back room, whether when they all get on the aeroplane, they're all as one, as a unit. Of course, there's been the training video that's been circulating as well, although the press conference hasn't been out yet. So I actually just realized in the back of my head, I did do a lineup, and I've just realized I put Spence in the lineup. And of course, last game, Spence was injured. So I don't actually know if he is going to be fit for this game. And also, we don't have Sousa listed in the Champions League squad. So the two players that definitely won't be making it tomorrow are going to be Sousa and and Basuma. Those two are the players that are not listed in our Champions League squad. So there's going to be some difficult decisions that he's going to need to make tomorrow in terms of lineup. And just to say, I don't know how this works, but I set a goal or a target for this live stream. I don't know how it works. I was doing it as a bit of an experiment, but apparently the goal is to get 10 super chats. And if we get 10 super chats in this live today, then I might come on tomorrow, or I will commit to coming on tomorrow after the game and doing a live, because I know it's a bit of a late game. So let's see, guys, how we get on. And also, I just saw that Richard has joined as a member of the COYS collective. So welcome to the tribe, Richard. What are we all thinking tomorrow night ahead of the game? I'd rather 3 points against Liverpool. Yeah, well, look, you don't get 3 points at this stage of the Champions League. You just progress to the next level. So as long as it's not an absolute battering of 4-0, I actually think we'll be all right, because we seem to perform at home in Champions League. Crazy situation. But if there was one game, if you were a betting man or a betting person, woman, whatever, betting person, and you had to bet on one game that we would win from now until the end of the season, it would be the game tomorrow, because it's away from home, it's in the Champions League, and we seem to get up for those games. So maybe tomorrow is going to be the day where we see a bit of a performance. But look, everything's going to be to play for in those 90 minutes. So I can imagine. And do you know what's really funny? I was thinking, it might not be funny, but I was thinking the other day about how the narrative around Spurs, or within Spurs, has always been fight for Champions League football. It's always been fight for Champions League football. We've got to get into Champions League football. And the funny thing is that last year, Ange kind of got the monkey off of our backs in a way by getting through the Champions League through the back door. And the crazy thing about that is that I wonder if there's some psychological element that hinders on the Champions League, right? Rather than like, we've got to win the Premier League, we've got to finish fourth. It's like, we've got to get Champions League football. And so I wonder if that's been ingrained in the players so much so that actually these are a no-brainer, no option to lose games kind of situation, if that makes any sense at all. And obviously I've got my green on today. I've got my green in honor of our Champions League form and our Europa League form over the last few seasons. One thing that I did notice that's interesting coming out of the players on Instagram recently, because I follow a lot of the players on Instagram, and Paulinho, Porro, Richarlison, Romero, I think just those guys, they have been posting a lot recently about their families. Like on their stories, every single day, they seem to be posting about their families. And I'm wondering if this is like a bit of a PR, or not a PR move, but a social media move to show the human side of them. Because look, I'm sure behind the scenes, they're getting loads of death threats and all sorts. And it's not nice to see. But I wonder whether they've been told to post a little bit more from that perspective. And that's why maybe you're seeing the players themselves not posting at all about Tottenham Hotspur on their socials, but here they are. They're all posting every single day with their families and with their loved ones. And look, it does bring a human element to it, because at the end of the day, as much as the players are paid millions of pounds and multi-millions of pounds, they are human at the end of the day. So, you know, on that respect, I kind of am very against the media machine, if you like, the PR machine, because we know that the media and the narratives that the media show can put the players under a lot more stress and pressure than they typically would be normally when the situation's going well. So I think those things all have an impact on the mindset of the players as well. And look, people might disagree with me on that, but I think it might be a fair point. Hello, the Irish gents. Good afternoon. Oh, were you at the Celtic game yesterday? Is the Rangers manager sacked yet? I don't know what's going on over there. What did you think of Mikey Moore in that game? How did you think of Mikey Moore? Because Rangers, they're loving Moore at the moment. Good afternoon. Another tough watch ahead of tomorrow night. Be positive, Billy. Come on, we need a bit of positivity around it. Look, if there's one game that I can be positive about for the rest of the season, it's going to be tomorrow and next week. Those are the only two games that I'm genuinely positive about, because for some reason, we're just going to get up for the fight. We are. And I know that people out there are like, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad at the team if they show up tomorrow night. Guys, they are going to show up tomorrow night because we're Spurs and this is what we do. This is what we do. This is who we are. We show up on the European stage. There's something about the European stage. And if there was a bet on to say, would we get relegated and be in the Champions League? I'd take that bet right now over staying in the Premier League. I really would. It's crazy times, crazy times. Although I don't think we could beat Bayern or Arsenal, but you never know. How am I feeling? Hi, Spursy Dave. How am I feeling? How many games have we won since you started the channel? 2. 2 games. One was Borussia Dortmund and one was Frankfurt. And the Dortmund game I went to. And the Frankfurt game, I'm pretty sure I covered on this channel as well after the game. So both of those games we did win. So of all the games that we've played, they've been 2 Champions League games. Sarah, you need a bowl of lemons like Poch. Yeah, no lemons over here. Just my bowl of crystals, which hopefully will get us through. Oh dear, which will hopefully get us through to the next round. I mean, look, even if it's a draw tomorrow night, you know, we could get a 1-0 at home. So there's just some crazy energy when it comes to the Champions League. I can't describe it. I don't know why. But it's something to do with the aura of Spurs. The aura of Spurs is you're destined for Champions League and maybe or maybe not the Premier League. Who knows? How are you? I'm good, thanks, Niall. Yeah, look, I'm better than I was the other day after my rant. Sometimes we all need a rant, and I know I'm showing multiple personalities and multiple sides of myself, but I'm sure like a lot of you, we're all feeling like that at the moment as well. We're going to do this tonight. Well, it's tomorrow night. So I hope the players are there tomorrow night and not tonight. Someone put in the group chat the other day, I hope they turn up on time on Wednesday. And someone said, no, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. So let's hope not. Yes, smiles and positive vibes. That's all we can provide for the team. And look, there's a lot of people flying out there. There's a lot of people flying out there because this could be our last Champions League game for a very, very long time. So when there's nothing riding on it, you just have to hope for the best. And sometimes when you have less pressure like that, because there really is no pressure on Tottenham to get through to the next round. And sometimes when you have less pressure on a game like that, you actually see a different type of team. You see a different type of result at the end of it as well. So sometimes against all odds, you know, sometimes games like this is the kind of game where the players get up for because they know there's no pressure and they know what's going on around the media forum as well. Odd vibes, as I don't want anyone to get injured, but it's Champions League. And Brit Kid, this is the point. And as I said before, I don't know if Spence, I'm going to actually, let me see if there is, I don't think there is any news, but I don't think that Spence is available. Did he say he was going to be available tomorrow? I don't think he did. Yes, please like, subscribe, comment, hype the video. Thanks very much, Niall. I do forget to say that, but apparently that's what I'm supposed to say. It gets tougher with Atletico than Liverpool. They need to get it together and the players need to have a better attitude. This whole thing about attitude, I see so many narratives saying that the players don't care. And maybe it's me. Let me know what you guys think, because I just fail to believe that the players don't care, because at the end of the day, it's their CVs that are riding on this as well. So they don't want to be part of a relegated squad. They don't want to be part of a relegated team. So it's in their best interest as well to win the game. Their pride, you know, their talent, their skill, the players should be showing up for it regardless. So I just think that we just don't have it in the tank. Part of it is players being played out of position. But then you could argue and say, well, we saw Frank try many different formations. Now we're seeing Tudor try many different formations. So I know there's this whole narrative about bringing in the new manager, and we could do a whole piece on bringing in the new manager and who that manager might or might not be. But I just don't think that any manager who's going to come in is going to save this squad. That's my personal opinion, and I'd love to be proven wrong. I would absolutely love to be proven wrong, but I'm just not convinced. And I know there's a lot of people out there waiting for Harry Redknapp and Jermaine Defoe to come through the door, but can you honestly see Harry Redknapp making a change? I just can't see it. I can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. Not that I can't get behind it. at this point, I just think whatever manager you're going to get in, the situation amongst the squad is still the same. So hopefully by the time we come back from the international break, there will be more players available. So just to, who was it that I saw earlier? I didn't screenshot it, but basically there's a lot of players in our squad who might be back after that Champions League break. And arguably the players that are out injured at the moment are way better than the players that we currently have playing in our squad. So crazy times. Think he's going to go 5 at the back? Well, the thing is, Richard, who's your 5 at the back? Who's your 5 at the back? Because you've got no left back. Assuming Spencer's still injured, Salza's not in the squad, you've only got Porro as a winger. So unless you put Archie Gray on the left back, I don't see that working. It's probably, now I'm thinking about it, it probably is going to be Archie Gray left back, isn't it? The good news about this is our 3 at the back are going to be Danso, Romero and Van de Ven. That's without a doubt going to be a question unless we do a 4-4-2 formation. If we do 3 at the back, I think you have to go with all your defenders. And it would be interesting to see because it's been a very long time since we've seen Mickey Van de Ven and Romero play together. I'm not even sure if they've played together this year. They might have played together in the game where Romero got his red card. But otherwise, I don't think those two have played together in a game. And look, we've said it before, when you have Udogie and you have your 2 centre-backs and you have Porro, we are a much better team for it. So look, Udogie's not coming back anytime soon. So I think we just have to face that one. But there is no left wing back, natural winger or wing back for this game. So this is going to be a makeshift scenario. So I think the best case that you can go with on that is just having the back 3, or you have a back 4 and you put Archie Gray at left back. Bless him. And you know what? I think, who was it? Someone posted the other day. Was it Tottenham away? Someone posted a really nice heartfelt post about Archie Gray saying, you know, he's a stand-up guy, stand-up character. He's the only one who stays on the pitch after the games, who gives his shirt out, who's a stand-up guy. He's always fighting for the team. And look, I know I've slated Archie Gray on this channel a little bit. But look, at the same time, I'm also forgiving because he is a young guy and he has come into this situation, you know, and he's trying his best to, I guess, help lead the dressing room in some kind of strange world that we've entered where Tottenham have no leaders in the pack. So, and interestingly enough, Archie Gray, he screenshot it because Archie Gray saw the post. So if you don't think the players see our social media, they see it. They see the social media, you know. I don't know how true it is, but I see Romero is 1 yellow card off a 2-game ban. Is that in the Champions League? That's true. He's 2 yellow cards away in the Premier League. Not sure about the Champions League because I'm not sure if the yellow card count got wiped at the beginning of the knockouts. Because the squads changed at the beginning of the knockout, so I'm not sure if those cards got wiped as well. Hi, Simon. We probably won't see Champions League football again for at least a decade. So relegation battle or not, I want us to go as far as we can. Oh, we're all on board with that. We're all on board. Look, for people saying you don't want to win Champions League or get far in Champions League, we've got to. We've absolutely got to. And at the same time, if the doomsday scenario were to play out and Tottenham Hotspur were to be relegated, if that was a scenario, then you're going to need to spend money to get the team back up to the Premier League. And one of the ways you do that is get the Champions League revenue money in. And that might mean getting through to the next round. But of course, we know with the greedy bunch, that ENIC are, they probably won't buy any players. So, you know, bit of a catch-22 situation. But these Champions League matches and the Liverpool game, and they're trying to try out formations. Who is up for it? And that includes the under-21s on Go For It. The most important match is Forest. Every game's important. Every game's important. And do you know what? I wouldn't put it past Tottenham to get a draw from Liverpool just because that's the type of club that we are. Like, we do stupid things like that. And I say stupid things, not necessarily stupid, but just like scenarios that you would never expect. That is, look, we've got this name Spursy, and that's what Spursy is. You go to Liverpool, you get a draw, and then you go and lose to Forest. Like, that would be typical Spurs, wouldn't it? You know, but I don't want to tempt fate. You know, every game from now until the end of the season, including the Champions League, is a must win. It is a must win. You know, you can't not want your team to beat Atletico Madrid, although I think it is a very, very tough ask. So I will come back to the comments. Oh, hey, Susan. Hey, Susan, welcome to the COYS Collective membership. If anyone is interested in joining our COYS Collective membership, that is on the homepage of this channel, I believe. You can join the community, $2.99 a month. With so many international players on this team, I believe this is why they play so much better. Champions League is a jump-off point to promote careers. And Susan, you made a really, really interesting point the other day on the Matchday vlog, because you said that Mickey van der Ven potentially got that red card because he didn't trust Vicario to save the shot potentially that was going to be made if he hadn't made that terrible foul. And I was thinking about that because a lot of people were looking at it like through the lens of Mickey van der Ven. You know, he did it on purpose and he sabotaged the team and whatever. But I thought, Susan, there was a lot of truth in what you said, or from that perspective, it kind of made sense because they definitely have lost trust. And I've spoken about this before, but they've lost trust and they've lost confidence in each other. So it might well be that Van der Ven made that terrible challenge because, yes, maybe in the back of his mind, he was scared that Vicario wasn't going to make the save. And the crazy full circle moment about that is Vicario is on for the Golden Glove. Vicario is on for the Golden Glove in the Champions League. I mean, can you believe it? Can you believe that? Crazy. Golden Glove in the Champions League, and we've conceded so many goals. Crazy. Anyway, I was having a look at the stats ahead of the game tomorrow. So in the Champions League so far, we've played 8 matches. We have won 5 of those. We've drawn 2 and we have lost 1 game. So, of course, that game that we lost was against PSG. I think, was it Monaco we drew against? I think, and Bodo. I think those were the 2 games that we drew. Was it Bodo? Yeah, I think that's right. Was it Monaco? Was it Villarreal? Oh, gosh, long season. Anyway, we've scored 17 goals in those 8 matches. So 17 goals scored. That's an average of 2.13 per game in the Champions League. We have conceded 7 goals. So that's almost 1 goal a game. So we haven't necessarily managed to, we've kept a lot of clean sheets because we're unbeaten at home for 24 games in the Champions League. But we've conceded an average of 0.88. So if you were to predict any scoreline, you would say it would be something like a 2-1, but of course away from home. We've had 53% possession. Our passing accuracy is 85.25% in the Champions League. And guys, the passing accuracy compared to the Premier League is astounding. It's absolutely astounding how we're able to get these stats in the Champions League against the best teams in Europe, but we can't do it in the Premier League. Anyway, we've had 332 balls recovered. So on average, that's 41 per game. We've won 56 tackles, so an average of 7 per match. We're not even winning any tackles in the Premier League. We've had 6 clean sheets out of 8. 6 clean sheets. 6 clean sheets. So I don't know how we've had 7 goals conceded. Oh, yeah, okay, that's because PSG walked that, didn't they? But 6 clean sheets. We've had 25 saves from our goalkeeper Vicario. Golden Glove Vicario, 25 saves. That's an average of 3 per game. They've covered a lot of distance. They're an average of 41 kilometers per game. We have 15 yellow cards and 1 red. So look, in terms of the statistics going into this game, you know, it's completely different kettle of fish when we compare it to what's been going on in the Premier League. So completely different like mentality, completely different squad, completely different team. Kind of crazy how you can make that comparison. League. And in terms of Atleti, they have played 10 matches because, of course, they had the knockout rounds as well. So they've played 10 matches, they've won 5, they've drawn 2, and they've lost 3. They have 24 goals. So on paper, we're actually very even in terms of how many goals we've scored, although they've played 2 more. They've also conceded way more goals than us. They've conceded 19 goals in those 10 games. Their possession is 50%, passing accuracy is above ours, so they are better probably on the pitch in terms of passing capability, which we obviously know. They've recovered more balls than us, so they've won more tackles than us. They've had no clean sheets, which is a good thing for us because we can't seem to score goals. Oh dear, guys. They've made 31 saves. They've had 21 yellow cards and 1 red card. And typically they cover less ground than us per game. So you would imagine that we are the fitter of the 2 teams. That's just based of like high level looking at the situation at large. So when we look at the squad, give me your squad prediction, guys, and what we think the squad predictions might be. The last game that they played, so of course they beat Club Brugge 4-1, and the game before that away to Club Brugge they drew 3-3. So I don't know if we've actually played any of the similar teams to them. Oh, we both played Bodo and they lost to Bodo. I don't know if that's anything to go by. Oh, crazy times. Can't believe I'm doing this preview, to be honest with you. They beat Frankfurt 5-1. So obviously we beat Frankfurt as well, but they definitely battered them more than we did. So that's sort of the overview of maybe the status quo, what that could look like. What are you guys saying? Yeah, let me know your squad predictions and I'll tell you what my squad prediction is. Would you rather stay up but win the UCL or get relegated but win the UCL? Stay up. Me personally, stay up. You've got to stay up. You've got to stay up in the league. You've got to stay up in the Premier League. Like, it's the reason for that is, and look, I'm not saying that other leagues don't have really talented football games or footballers. It's not about that. It's about the fact that we have been set up to be a Premier League squad. Financially, we are a Premier League squad. We have a lot of debt. We have a lot of financing for the stadium. You know, we have players on very high wages. You have managers on very high wages. So it's so much more than just about being relegated and playing in the championship. Because the championship football is really good, but it's not about that. You're not a club that's set up to play in the championship, and that's the difference. So for me personally, some people might disagree with that, but I would rather see us stay up. Mikey Moore doesn't exist until he's back at Spurs. Hate to see him playing for that lot. Sorry about that, the Irish gent. I take it you're a Celtic fan. Were you a Spurs fan beforehand or after? Greetings from Sydney. What time's it over in Sydney? What time's it over in Sydney? What do you guys see the Champions League games? What time would the Champions League game be on in Sydney? Is it like, was it about 7 in the morning? It's, actually, they're ahead. Is it 6 in the morning? 6 in the morning. Solanke turns into prime or Adjuras in Europe. Wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up with 2 fancy goals. Well, actually, I don't have him in my starting lineup. I don't have Solanke in my starting lineup. We all know that he loves Moani, so I don't know, maybe Moani starts this one, but I don't have Moani in my starting lineup either. I've gone for Richie, but bring us a league win. I wish I could make that happen, Spursy Dave. The only thing that I can provide is good vibes. It's the only thing that I can provide. I'm sorry. I've gone for the good vibes mug today. Yeah, that's the cup for today. Good vibes. Oh, he's available. Oh, where did we hear that? Is there any news out yet? Because I haven't seen the news pop up. Is that announced? Is that announced? I'm just looking. Oh, an hour ago. Madrid have a couple of players out. Doesn't say anything about the Spurs players. I can't see anything about Spence being back. I'll keep an eye out. If that comes up, let me know. And I don't necessarily think Spence is crap. He's a one-on-one defender, and he's better at right back. For me personally, I don't think he's a natural left back, and that's the problem with Spence. You're playing him out of position. I'm just checking, guys. I can't see anything saying that Spence is back. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Tottenham have been boosted by the return of Jed Spence and Radu Dragusin. They both returned to training on Monday. So he was in training this morning. And Dragusin was out with a knock against Palace. But I'd rather not see Dragusin, if I'm completely honest. I'd rather not see Dragusin. I think Pep could manage our lot and it wouldn't make a difference. I agree. That's a sad state of affairs. Although Harry Redknapp's coming back and he's going to fix everything. That's what I've heard. Right. So in terms of the lineup, so in terms of Madrid, who have Madrid got out? Yeah, because I just said a couple of players were out, didn't I? So the report was sorry guys, this is literally just breaking now. That's why I didn't get it. So it is Rodri. He's been ruled out for both this game and the next game. And the other player, so Mendoza has a moderate grade sprain in his right ankle. And the other player that's out, is Simeone out? I don't know if Simeone's out. Don't know who the other player is. I don't know. I don't know who the other player is. Has Igor done the presser yet? No, he hasn't. If the presser does come out, I'll see if I can share it on here when it does. Not really a boost, is it? That's stretching. Yes, I don't know. So I haven't seen the Igor Tudor presser, although I will keep an eye out if that does come out while we're on live. Sometimes for the evening games, it comes out a little bit later. At the moment, they're just showing the training. No, nothing at the moment. So apparently Spencer's back, and apparently Dragusin's back. Our favourites. Our favourites. Oh dear. And it's not personal, Dragusin. It's not personal at all. I just rather Dragusin in our back line. Sorry about that. So when I was thinking about this lineup, and I was thinking about, what could he line up as? Look, we know that typically so far, Tudor from the last 3 games has changed the formation every single game. That's for sure. And one of the things that I was thinking about is, is he's going to go with the back 3 formation? And I think, for me personally, I think he is going to go for the back 3 formation. I don't know what you guys think to that. I know someone in the comments just said that he's going to go for a back 4, but I just see him going for a back 3. The reason for that is I think maybe Euro Champions League is maybe a bit of a different game. So maybe he's going to go more of a 3 at the back. I'd love to see us having a bit more of an attacking lineup, but I can't really see that either, if I'm completely honest. Maybe even like a 3-3-3-1 would be maybe a bit more of an attacking lineup, because one thing that we massively lack is the pressure when we're going forward. For some reason, we just don't press. We just sit back and watch the opponent, and it's very, very frustrating to watch. Very frustrating to watch. I'm seeing if I can just share with you guys the lineup that I had, but let me just see if I can share the lineup. This is just my predicted lineup, of course. For some reason, my laptop's playing up. Ooh. Hold on, what's going on here? Hold on, what's going on here? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Don't know what's going on here. God, I'm such a rookie. Such a rookie. Right. This is the lineup that I am predicting. Let me know your thoughts, what we think of this lineup. It's not pretty, but I do think he's going to go for a back three. And I would love to see our natural defenders in their natural positions. So I've obviously kept with Vicario in goal. I've put Danso, I've put Romero, and I've put Van der Ven. If this was to be a back four, it would be very interesting if he put Van der Ven on the left back and put Porro as our right back, although I don't think that's going to happen. But the other option is, of course, if you go with a four at the back, you would have Porro and Spence, and you would most likely take Danso out of the equation. So I think this is going to be very much dependent on what Tudor has seen in training over the last few days. Of course, he's still learning the squad, so crazy times, but he's probably looking to the squad, seeing, what partnerships are going to work. And as I said before, we haven't seen Van der Ven and Romero in the same team. And to see Romero in a back three, I think would just be so much better than watching Dragusin in the center of the pitch. So potentially, I think that could be one of the formations that he goes with, or one of the options. And then I've gone with Porro and Spence as our sort of wing backs, with Gray and Paulinho in midfield. Controversial. So the only other midfielder that we have to this is obviously Gallagher. And again, I've dropped Gallagher from the squad because I'm fed up with him. So maybe this is me and this is personal for me. But I just think that Gray has been such a stand-up player for us. And he seems to be having, one of the better performances out of all of our players at the moment. So I keep Gray in. Polestar, I can see you saying no Gallagher. I personally have taken Gallagher out, but considering he played for Atletico Madrid, maybe it's a good point. Maybe he would go in there instead of Sarr. I think if Gallagher was to start, he would go in ahead of Sarr probably. But I just think that we look better with Sarr on the pitch. I don't know what you guys think. I just think we look more attacking. We look more lively. We have more pace about us when Sarr plays. For me personally, I just think he gets more involved in the game. His passing is better. For some reason, Gallagher just hasn't clicked back at Spurs. You're right. Maybe because he's familiar with the ground, he's familiar with the stadium. Maybe Gallagher does come in, and maybe I've made an error on that one. So yeah, okay. A lot of you are saying here maybe Gallagher for Sarr and Bissouma's not listed in the Champions League squad, so Bissouma cannot be listed in the team, and neither can Sousa. So we have no left back and we have no Bissouma. Just to clarify that. This is Champions League lineup, and they are not listed in the Champions League squad. So we are limited in terms of Bissouma. So your midfielders are Paulinho and Gallagher. And if you're going to rotate the squad from the other day, maybe you guys are right, actually. Or some of you, because obviously not everyone's saying the same thing. But yeah, okay, guys. I changed my mind. Yes, I changed my mind. I'm putting in probably Gallagher ahead of maybe Paulinho. Maybe. Risky. risky. But I just want to see Sarr in the lineup. I think Sarr has really good games in Europe. He's another player that performs on the big stage. Paulinho started the other day, so I'm just thinking if he's rotating them and maybe Paulinho gets a bit of a rest in this one. Yeah. So I take it back, guys. Put Gallagher in the starting lineup. This is not interactive, so I can't change it. We've got Sarr and Simmons are the two I've gone for up front, although I'm pretty convinced that he's going to go with Mawani because he loves Mawani. So even to the extent where maybe you'd put Mawani in for Richie and you'd have Solanke on the right-hand side. But I think given the fact that both Richie and Solanke have had injuries, you need to be rotating those two players. And Richie did not start last game. So I think Richie needs to be started. Richie is still our top goal scorer, and I want to be seeing him start more games, but he can't play a full 90 minutes because he's not fully fit. Richie's never fully fit. And so if you're going to rotate the squad in some way, yes, I think maybe you take Richie out, you put Mawani in. But Mawani has scored, 2 goals this season, 3 goals this season, and the majority of those have come from the Champions League against his old clubs. So maybe. That's what I would put. Tottenham till I die forever. That's what I would put. But given that Gallagher is familiar with Atletico Madrid, he's familiar with the players, he's familiar with the dressing room, he's familiar with the pitch, with the stadium. Sometimes that familiarity can help you in a game. I mean, it didn't help Paulinho against Fulham, but you never know. Maybe Gallagher would be more up for the fight because it's against his old team. Maybe. No tell. I don't know. This is my speculative lineup. This is not a leaked lineup. This is my speculative lineup. So it may or may not be accurate, but this is the one that I've predicted. So yeah, maybe you could put Tell in it, but I think to do that, you have to give way somewhere in the team. And if you're going to do that, I think you probably have to go to a back four. I think you probably have to go to a back four, and I think you'd have to do a 4-3-3, maybe. I'm just thinking how that would work. Yeah, you'd probably need a 4-3-3-1, or you could even do a 4-2-3-2 and have 2 strikers up top. Don't exactly know how that would look. Could you do a 4-3-4-2? I don't think Tudor's ever done that. The truth is, none of us know what formation he's going to go with. None of us have any idea. You can't change the keeper, Poli. You can't change the keeper because Beccario's on for the Golden Glove. So Beccario's not being dropped. It would be funny if he was dropped, but considering he's on for the Golden Glove, he's kept 6 clean sheets out of 8 in the Champions League. 6 clean sheets in the Champions League. So I think if there's a game to keep you for keeper, it's going to be this one. For me personally, I think he's got more confidence. I don't know why. Guys, for the life of me, I can't tell you why we have this thing where we just show up in Europe and we don't in the Premier League. I don't know why. I wish I knew. Although obviously you can speculate that from a bit of a mindset perspective situation, but it will be interesting because look, if we can beat Atletico Madrid, I don't know if fans will go crazy at that. I don't know if fans will be madder if we do beat. Will people be actually more annoyed about the situation in the Premier League if we actually did beat Atletico Madrid? Because then people would be like, how did we beat Madrid, but we can't beat Burnley? And we can't beat West Ham, we can't beat Fulham or Palace, but then you can go to Atletico Madrid. Don't know that we haven't beat them yet. We're not exactly spoilt for choice. Exactly, Renegade Sound. Okay, so some of your predictions are Kinski. Kinski's not going to be played, sorry. Porro, Danso, Romero, Van de Ven. So I'm assuming Van de Ven would be your left back. Paulinho and Gallagher. And then you've got Xavi, Tell, Richie and Mawani. I'd go with that, except I would, for one of Paulinho or Gallagher, I'd put in Gray. For one of Paulinho or Gallagher, and maybe Paulinho. I don't know if Paulinho's match fit enough to play two full 90 minutes back to back. Did Paulinho play for the full 90? Did Paulinho play the full 90? Yeah, Paulinho played the full 90 against Palace. Paulinho played the full 90 against Palace. So maybe Paulinho is the guy that you drop in this game. Don't forget Archie Gray now. I think he's got, is it 3 assists in 3 for Archie? No, he's got 2 assists and a goal in his last 4, Archie Gray. 2 assists and a goal for Archie Gray in the last 4. So I'm keeping Gray in. He's our most on-form player. Archie Gray is our most on-form player. Objectively, in my perspective, he's our most on-form player. He's fighting for the team. So out of those, Paulinho played the 90 minutes the other day. So yeah, I'm correcting this. And then instead of Paulinho, I'm going Gray. There was another few lineups here that you guys have said. Vicario, so did I just read this one? Did I just read that one? No. Vicario, Danso, Romero, Van de Ven, Porro, Gallagher, Gray, Tell, Xavi, Dom, Richie. So is that a 3 at the back? So then you'd have Porro right wing back, maybe Gray left wing back, Gallagher in the middle, then Tell, Xavi, Dom, and then Richie up top. The problem is with all of this is that we've got no right wing. We've got no right wing. So when you play 3 attacking midfield, you've got no natural right winger. And Solanke is good, but I don't think he's good enough to play right wing. I don't think he's pacey enough. You need someone really pacey on the right wing. I just don't see. Yes, but it's an evening game. So Ramadan doesn't, you can eat and drink after sundown. So yes, it's Ramadan, but the players will still be able to eat and drink. 3-4-1-2, Brickhead says. Vic, Porro, Danso, Romero, Mickey Van de Ven, Spence Gallagher, Archie Gray, Xavi, Dom, and Richie. So a lot of you guys have taken Sarr out. Maybe you do bring on Sarr as an impact sub. Maybe you do bring on Sarr as an impact sub. It's possible. I think Atletico Madrid tend to play a 4-4-2 formation. So there is also the option that you go with a 4-4-2. Yeah, they play 4-4-2. They play 4-4-2. There is an option that we go back to that 4-4-2. That is maybe another option that we have. 4-4-2 formation that we played, was it against Arsenal? Guys, we've tried so many different formations, I've lost track. And we've lost our last 5 games, so. Dearie me. No, it was Fulham. Sorry. Fulham, we did the 4-4-2. So if you were to go like for like, and let's say Atletico Madrid are doing their 4-4-2, 4-4-2 could work for us in this game. And a 4-4-2 might look something like Porro with Danso and Romero, and then a wild card with Mickey Van de Ven as left back. And I think if Tudor played Mickey Van de Ven on left back, I think everyone would be like, hurrah, someone's tried it. I think everyone would be like, he's actually tried it, because we haven't had a manager who's tried Van de Ven at left back. Problem is he's so strong at centre back. Actually, what am I even saying? He's not strong at centre back because we always concede goals. So yeah, maybe it is worth a wild card of putting him as left back. The other option is that you have Romero and Van de Ven as centre backs, and then you have Archie Gray as left back. And look, Archie Gray did create an assist against Fulham when he played as left back. So maybe that is an option, given the fact that you don't have Sousa. However, if anyone gets injured in this game, you have no left back replacement. So you're going to have to change the whole formation. So we saw that happened against Palace. We had that collapse when Mickey went off because we changed formation. So we don't deal well in situations which are unrehearsed. And look, this whole scenario is unrehearsed, isn't it? Now, in that game against Fulham, he played Gallagher on the right wing. And that's the problem. If you do a 4-4-2, because you have no Basuma and you have no right wingers, I don't know who you put on the right-hand side if you go for a 4-4-2 formation, because if you play Gray left back, you have no right-sided player to play in the midfield. And also, the reason why I don't like the 4-4-2 is I really don't like Xavi on the left-hand side. I really don't like Xavi on the left-hand side of a 4-4-2. I just think it doesn't perform well to his game. Yeah. So 4-4-2 for me, I don't really like it. I'm just trying to think what other formation you could do. I mean, it would be a case of like a Sarr on the right-hand side or something. But I just don't really like it. I don't know. If you're going to go like for like, though. Oh, Russell. Russell's making an argument for Dragusin starting. But it depends on several things. Van der Ven has played left back internationally, and it might be a bit of a break for him. Then we can keep Gray central and Porro right back. Yeah, so if we go a 4-4-2, the only way you can make a 4-4-2 work is you play Van der Ven as left back, and then you play Archie Gray as a right wing back. That is the only way a 4-4-2 can work. Otherwise, with the players that we've got and the squad that we've got, you've got no one to play on the right-hand side, and you've also got to play Xavi on the left, which I don't really like. I'm really let down by Xavi. A lot of you are saying that Gallagher has to start. Yep, this is also true. You say that Gallagher knows Atleti, but Atleti knows Gallagher's strengths and weaknesses, so it's risky. I mean, arguably, he wasn't a regular starter for Atletico Madrid either, was he? So, but look, sometimes it's more about leadership in these types of games as well. We say that we lack leadership in a lot of our players. So maybe Gallagher can show a bit of leadership in this one. I don't know. Play a flat back four. It's the safest and most reliable. And given the fact that Madrid play a 4-4-2, I don't disagree. I think you might nick a draw at home, then adios in Spain. Well, we play away first. First leg is away. So inky fingers. First leg is away tomorrow night. So it's going to be the reverse of that. So maybe you mean we nick a draw away and then it's adios at home. But we're undefeated at home in Europe in the last 24. So I'd back us to win at home next week. And hopefully my new phone's going to arrive then so we can all watch that in HD. Oh dear, just getting a new phone in time to get all of our terrible games in HD. Terrible. It wasn't for Carlos. Well, good for the goalkeeper. Should add a few quid to the price tag come this summer. I don't know. Guys, there's been so much speculation about our players leaving. I mean, the latest one I saw was Solanke's got offers from Newcastle. And I've got to say, in terms of this whole, what is it they say? Like, you know, when you hear like loads and loads of news and there's no weight to any of it, I kind of feel like all of the PR and the press at the moment, which is like, this player is going to this club, Mickey's going to Liverpool, Romero's going to Spain, and, you know, Vicario's going over here, and Bergval's being sold over there, and literally every one of our players has been linked somewhere. And sometimes I think to myself, is this just a massive PR gig to get these players' price tags up? Like, sometimes that's what I think to myself. Like, is this like a case just to get the players out of the club, or like, you know, get them to get the best wages for them possible? Because look, you're not going to sell every single player. These players are contracted. They can't just get up and leave. They can't just get up and leave. You're contracted. You're signed and sealed to your club. You know, you can't sell 20 players. It just doesn't. Football doesn't work like that. You know, you make a commitment to the club. They signed a contract with clauses saying if they got relegated, what would happen. They know the score. They know the score. And if we get relegated, it's on them. It's on the players at the end of the day. So maybe their price tag gets decreased. You know what I mean? Like these players, they can't all just leave. It doesn't work like that. You're contracted, you're under contract. That's it. Anyway, Tudor says he saw us going in the right direction Thursday. What was he watching? So, Richard, I was listening to some of what Igor Tudor was saying, and actually what he said was, I saw something. He said, I saw something. And do you know what I read into that? I read into that behind the scenes in the dressing room, they were all laying into each other and they were having it out in the dressing room. And I can only hope that that was the case. I hope that when he said he saw something, what he saw was passion, and what he saw was frustration, and what he saw was commitment, and all of those things behind the scenes. I wish that behind the scenes, he said he saw something, and I'm hoping that he saw some fight in the players, because we're not seeing it on the pitch. And so if in the back room, they were all having it out with each other, like that day that I keep talking about with Son and Lloris and them having a go at each other, that's what we need. We need some fight from these players. I'd be happy to get another 9 million prize money. We're going to need it. I agree. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. I agree. Like, if it's on the table, it's there for the taking. And if you can win this game, why not? Why not? Yeah, you've got to get up for Liverpool as well. Yeah, you've got to get up for Forest. But we've got some tough games in the Premier League, but they're two different competitions. They're two different competitions at the end of the day. I think Spurs will do well to get away with a 4-0 loss. Love the positivity, Pete. Are you a Spurs fan? Are you a Spurs fan? Maybe you're just a realistic Spurs fan. Maybe you're a realistic one. He's our most on form. He's our only informed player. Yeah, you could argue that. Richie's coming into form. Richie's coming into a bit. Look, Richie has scored goals. I know people don't want to hear it because we're still losing games, but it's the psyche. It's absolutely the psyche. And I think if we see us take anything from tomorrow night, we'll all see the psychology of these players show up in Europe, but not at home. Porro right wing. But then who's your maybe a right wing back? Maybe a right wing back, but he is better as a right back. Definitely do not play him as a centre back. Don't play him as a centre back. I don't want to be seeing Porro as a centre back. And the problem is, guys, I don't even know what our tactics are. Forget the lineup. What the hell are our tactics? Because our tactics at the moment are literally just pass the ball around the back, but in our half of the pitch and not get up. That's the problem. We need to get up the pitch. We need to be passing the ball forward. And we lack this progressive passing, especially in the final third. Our final third passing is terrible. So I don't know what it is about these European games while we're able to score goals. Maybe it's partly our set pieces, but we have scored open goals in the Champions League. So as much as it is about the formation, you can talk all day long about the formation and the tactics and everything, but the players have to be up for the fight. But also we just need to pass the ball forward and stop passing it backwards and doing these like stupid things where we're losing the ball so close to our net, because this is how we're conceding goals. We're just being cut open in midfield and it's costing us. It is costing us so much in games. Solanke over Richie in the lineup that you predicted. Solanke over Richie. Yeah, I still think he's going to go with Moani. I just think he likes Moani. Maybe it's a familiarity thing. I don't know. Ditch Vicario for the Premier League. Guys, if you saw me in the matchday vlog the other day, I was going mental. I was going so bad. I think I was going so mad because I was standing up and down. I was standing up and down because people were leaving. So we were like up, down, letting people go, standing up, sitting down. But yeah, look, Vicario's on the Golden Glove. You can't drop him for the Champions League. 4-2-3-1, Kinski. A lot of you are saying Kinski. So many of you are saying Kinski. I think just change Kinski for Liverpool. He kept a clean sheet against Liverpool last year, even if he didn't concede 4. But yeah, I think Vicario just starts this. Just look, he was still given the captain's armband last game. He is still very much the third, fourth captain, vice captain in line at the moment. So it looks like Porro's got the vice captaincy over him. But of course, we all know that Romero will be the captain of this game. And let's just hope he doesn't get sent off. We haven't had any impact players. Why keep them as subs? We haven't had any impact players. Well, our impact players are the player. Our impact players should be the players starting the games. Our impact players are the players starting the games. But obviously, if you have Kulusevski and Maddison fit, then you're probably not starting Xavi and you're probably not starting whoever the right winger is. And you probably then start Mawani, Richie, or Tell as a left winger. But because you have no right wing, you're playing your impact subs to start the game. Maybe. But we're so light, as I said before, you've got no Sousa and no Basuma, so you've got 2 less first team starters in this game. I wish this was the team against Fulham. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and you can blame Van de Ven and Romero for that one, because Van de Ven and Romero have not been playing at the same time for quite a few games now. Besides which, the last game that they played together, we didn't win. Just saying. Just saying. Oh dear. Who was the last game? No. The last game they played together. Oh my God, guys. Oh my goodness. The last game that Porro and Van de Ven played together was 2-2 against Burnley. And our back line was Danso, Romero, and Van de Ven. And that was the game where both Van de Ven and Romero scored. So, yep. The last game that we won with that back line. Well, no, hold on. The last game we played with that back line was against Burnley, because we didn't beat Burnley. But I'm pretty sure that was the last game. I mean, you could say that the last game that we played with them both in the back line was against United, that we lost 2-0. But Romero got his yellow card and Udogie got sent off, and we played a back 3. So when you look at the back, played back 4, and the back 4 in that game was Gray, Romero, Van de Ven, and Udogie. So you didn't have Porro fit. So this is what I mean. You never have any consistency. But yeah, the last time Van de Ven, Romero, and Danso were in our back line was against Burnley, and we drew 2-2. So take from that what you will. Hello, Pringos. From what we've heard, according to football.london, which was published 1.5 hours ago, the news was Dragusin and Spence are back in the squad, but we have not heard the press conference yet, and we have not had any word from Tottenham on the updates on the injury status or the squad. So all we do know is Tell is named in the squad. Tell is named in the squad, and so is Gallagher. They will be the 2 players that got put in. Who is the third player? Oh my gosh, it's been so long since we had a Champions League game. Who was the other player that got put in? Who was our third player that got put in? Who was our third player? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. It was Gallagher, Tell. Who was our third player that got put in? I'd like to see Simmons step up, wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? The only way we win the game is playing the whole squad in defence. We have everything else. Well, I mean, arguably, I would say you play the whole team in attack because we can't attack. At the moment, we have a goal drought. We have a goal problem. We have absolutely a goal problem. Like, we just can't string two passes together and push it up the pitch. It's very frustrating. Some of you are saying Xavi in the middle, which is fine. I'd go with Xavi in the middle. I just don't know who you put on the right-hand side. And that's the problem. You don't have any balance in the squad. Very little balance. Mixed feelings, you guys. You guys are having mixed feelings. You guys are having mixed feelings on whether we start Solanke, Richie or Moani. No one said Moani, but a lot of you are saying Solanke. A lot of you are saying Solanke. And if you're just joining, please do like, subscribe, like the stream, comment, subscribe to the channel. Porro 442, Porro at right wing, Spence at right back. Yeah, but then who do you play on the left? This is the thing. We have no left. We have no left. Would you rather? I think I'd rather see Gray on the right wing, and I'd rather have Spence as the left back. Igor will never play 4-4-2. Well, he did play 4-4-2. He did play 4-4-2, and we lost 4-4-2. So maybe he won't play 4-4-2. By the way, guys, I set a goal for 10 super chats on this live stream. So if we get to that, I might jump on tomorrow after the game. I'm just having a look. I'd imagine the press conference is going to be out any minute. If it comes out, I'll see if I can share the screen. Let me see if I can get it up. Let me see if I can get it up because the presses are starting to come out. Newcastle and Barcelona press release is out. So maybe Igor Tudor's one will be out shortly. Does Gallagher have any strengths? I don't know. Champions League trophy is ours. I sincerely hope so. Why do we think I've got my green shirt on today? I've got the green shirt on. I believe a good performance tomorrow will revitalise our Premier League form. Hope springs eternal. Oh, I'm with you, Susan. I hope that's the case as well. I hope that's the case as well. Newcastle wanting Solanke makes no sense when they have Watermende and Wissa. I agree, but maybe it's just noise. Unless one of those players is being sold, that could be another situation. They might sell. They could sell. This fire sale talk about players when we are still in the relegation, when we are still in the fight, is disgusting. Yeah, that's the media for you. That's what happens. That's what happens. Tudor press conference. Let's see if it's out. I don't think it's out. No, yeah. They know we're waiting for it. They know we're waiting for it. He saw something. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that what he saw was a bit of fighting talk, a bit of, I hope that they were having arguments in the back room. Honestly, I hope they were showing passion at the back of that. I really do, because we're not seeing it on the pitch. And so if there's something going on in the back room, look, he came out in the press conference and he said it's private. He said it's private. He said, I'm not going to reveal anything about what went on in the back room, you know? So maybe he did see some fighting talk. Do you know what, guys? They absolutely, Ange said, season 3, I think that they made the wrong decision to cut the Amazon Prime documentary a season 2 early. I think they should have done a season 2 on the Amazon Prime this season, because I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to be on the fly on the wall and see what's going on in the back room of the squad these days, because what was going on in the back room back then, crazier things are happening now, and I would love to be a fly on the wall and see what's going on. Can you imagine? That'd be so highly grossing. Imagine if they did like the Welcome to Wrexham, if they did like a Welcome to Spurs documentary, and it was about like Spurs getting promoted back to the Premier League. Like that would be a way to get more money. That would be a way to get more money. Romero could win World Cup and be relegated in the same season. That's true, but Spence could also be part of a World Cup winning squad. Van der Ven and Xavi could be part of a World Cup winning squad. Richarlison could be part of a World Cup winning squad. Paulinho, Vicario, all of them. They're all international players. And that's what I was saying in my video the other day, my rant that I had. They're all international players. Every single one of our players plays for their international squads, except for Tel and Odebear, who play for the under-21 still. But every single one of our players plays in the international squad. So, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. He certainly didn't see any fans left in the stadium. Yeah, I know. But Sarah, we won't be able to pay them CG on 180. So that would be 90. Nowhere would we pay that if we go down. But the players are contracted. They signed the contract. They signed the contract at the end of the day. And they have to get themselves promoted. If you go down, you have to get yourself promoted. If you're going to do a Newcastle and you're going to get promoted the season after, you have to reinvest in the squad. I don't know about Villa when they got relegated, what Villa did, if they had a massive restructuring as well. But look, if we get relegated, you need a plan. They need a plan. I know we're talking about the Champions League, and here we are talking about relegation, but they need a plan. They need a plan of action. And if you're going to rebuild from the ground up, if you're going to start completely again from scratch, then you need a plan, and not buying for the future. You can't be buying these players for the future. You need to be buying players for now to fill that gap that we have in the squad, sort of like the players that are in their prime, not buying players who are too young and blocking the pathway of our youth academy, and equally not buying so many players that are in their late 20s that arguably at the end of their footballing career. You need to be buying players in the middle. And realistically, at the moment, we don't have too many of them. You have Van der Ven, Saar, Gallagher. Yeah. You're sort of like clutching at straws when you're thinking about players in our squad who are in sort of their mid-20s coming into their prime. And typically those players are the ones that are going to be worth the most money. So now you can see why we've become a selling club. We sell our best players when we get to that age because we buy them young, and then they don't want to see out the project because we don't have a project. So all these players are made promises. We're going to build a project. It's going to be an amazing project. We're going to bring in more players. You have a transfer window where they tell us you're going to buy loads of players. They don't buy anyone. So why would anyone want to stay? Why would anyone want to stay? And part of me doesn't blame the players, but at the same time, they're also responsible. So it's a very football is one of those sports. It's a very strange situation where you have this situation where you have love and hate in equal measure for your team, But Sarah, not too many players will stay for you. Tudor knows whom to trust and the players he does not. He does not have many options. It was the same under Ange. These players don't play for the badge, and most importantly, the fans. I don't know if I'd agree that they don't play for the fans. The problem is it's just got so toxic at all levels. So yeah, they don't play for the fans, but the fans also boo the players. So it's a vicious cycle. Oh, Broad Beans come up with a lineup. Is this our all-time lineup? If this is an all-time lineup, I want to see Son in this. You've got to see Son in this, and you've got to see Kane in this. Sorry. You got to see Son and you got to see Kane in this. Did anyone watch Bale's interview on the overlap, by the way? Did anyone watch Bale's interview? I watched it last night. That's how I spend my evenings these days, watching Bale on the overlap. But it was very interesting what Bale was saying about the club. He's very politically correct, Bale, isn't he? He's very like politically correct. He's like doesn't like step too much out of line, and it just says very little, I felt. But it was interesting to see his perspectives. And basically he said that they don't spend enough money on players. And in the same breath, he's like, yeah, they bought me for 10 million and sold me for 85. So it's like, well, you decided to leave the club, Bale. So you're part of that, you know. But who are you saying? Jennings, Houghton, Alderweireld, King, Perryman, Bale, Mabbott, Gascoigne, Ginola, Greaves, Lineker. I mean, I'm putting Bale and Son in this lineup. Maybe this is like an all-time lineup. I'm just going to stick on the other light. But yeah, I'd probably put on Bale and Son in this. Alderweireld. What, we're having no Modric in this either? No Modric? Maybe it's like a generational thing. The players in my era were different. I mean, I'd even take Defoe right now. I'd so take Defoe right now. I'd take Aaron Lennon right now. I'd take anyone over the past 10 years over the squad we've got right now. That's the harsh truth. That is the harsh truth of the situation. We have a couple of super chats coming in. Thanks, guys. 2 super chats, 8 more super chats to go, and maybe we'll come on live tomorrow. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It depends. Oh my gosh. If I come on tomorrow and we win, I don't know what I'll do. I need to set some kind of like, you know how like Kunzi has the clown outfit. I feel like we need to have some kind of mask or something over here. But love your channel from your favorite Gooner. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing. But appreciate your support. Appreciates your support, and you will miss us if we go down. You know it. We know it. The whole of the Premier League knows it. Everyone knows it. There will be no London derby, and everyone will miss that game because it's one of the most viewed games in the world. I think the Merseyside derby is probably the only derby that's bigger in the Premier League than maybe the London derby, maybe the Manchester derby as well, you could say. But I think the London derby is even bigger than the Manchester derby. But I think the Merseyside derby is probably one of the biggest. I think Everton, Liverpool, probably one of the bigger ones. But yeah, there will be no London derby. And everyone thinks it's funny, but it would also cost the Premier League as well. It would. Yes, a stream tomorrow. Thank you for the support, Susan. Thank you. Let's see if anyone else wants the stream tomorrow. Maybe everyone's too scared that we're going to lose. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe everyone's too scared that we're going to lose. I don't know. Good nervous. Play a flat back 4. I've lost where we are in the chat, but I'll just keep going. Flat back 4. I don't have a problem playing back 4. The thing is, Igor Tudor doesn't play back 4, first of all. And the second thing is, we don't have any natural left or right wing backs. So why would you play a 4-4-2 if you have no natural right winger and you have no natural left winger? And that is the problem that we have. We are a squad decimated with injuries, which we keep forgetting to talk about because we're blaming the current players for the situation. So, you know, if you play a 4 at the back, then you're in a situation where you have to play probably Gray on the right wing, and you probably have to play Xavi on the left wing, and I don't like either of those. But that's me personally. I don't know. Like, I think whichever way you spin it, whatever way you play these players, whoever you have to manage these players, we are waiting. We are hoping and waiting for our injury crisis to be resolved. And look, I don't know if there is anything in this karma, and I don't know if anyone here believes in karma, but I just think if behind the scenes there is movement happening, there will be some kind of crazy karma where our players come back and refereeing decisions start falling in our favor. But in order to do that, in order for some kind of like miracle, spiritual miracle to happen, behind the scenes, the board and ENIC and everyone to do with this club should be making decisions behind the scenes. And we know that decisions and conversations are not happening behind the scenes, or if that is the case and they are having the conversations, they're not the right ones, because it's not translating to the energy that's going on around the pitch. You know, it's not going on around the pitch. The transformation is not being pulled off right now. So some of you are still saying change the keeper. I don't think he changes the keeper for this one, but yeah, really can't see Spence playing. If he only joined training today, maybe he comes back against Liverpool or just gets some minutes. I think look, either way, it's an ugly situation, because then you've got to play. You're probably going to end up playing a back three against Liverpool. Everyone's going to hate it. But would you rather a back three or having Sousa as your left back? 19-year-old kid. That's the situation that you're in. So it's a horrible situation, guys. It's a horrible situation either way. It is. Horrible situation either way. Have I done this one already? I don't know. Kinski, Porro, Danso, Romero, Van de Ven, Paulinho, Gallagher, Javitel, Richie, Mawani. A lot of you are putting Mawani in. Interesting. A lot of you are putting Mawani in. Do you not think a lot of youth players should come into the starting 11 for the UCL? The experienced players need a rest, and we don't want any other injuries. No, I don't think they do. I don't think they come in. I don't know who's travelled. They didn't show us any footage, actually. Normally, we all see the players getting on the aeroplane. That's part of like our social media, but there's been none of that this time. None of that. Shall I see if the press is out yet? No, it's not. It's not out yet. The Spy will leak it. Well, apparently we didn't get the lineup in the last game. We didn't get the lineup in the last game. And the supposed leaked lineup, which contained Kinski, I pray that was the leak to test, like as in a test to maybe leak it to someone, the wrong lineup, to see if they would leak it. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if they gave someone the wrong lineup to see whether they would leak it or not. And do you know what? I'm glad that we didn't get the leaked lineup, because as much as I like to see it, I don't really care. And I'd rather that our opponents and our rivals don't see the lineup before we do. You know, you don't need your opponents getting a one-up on you before you've even kicked off the ball. I hope we get out of there at best 2-1. Yeah, I agree. I think if there's a one goal in it, I don't mind it. If it's a 2-0, if it's a 2-1 or a 1-0 or a 3-2, I don't mind it. As long as we put up a fight, as long as we show some fight, I'm happy with that. Maybe I did read that one. Champions League trophy is ours. I love the optimism. I don't know if I believe it. What does my pendulum say? Are we gonna be winning? It's saying yes. Okay. It's saying yes. I'll go with it. If the pendulum says yes. Don't let Solanke go. I've lost where we were up to. Try to keep a clean sheet would be a good start. Yeah, look, we need to start keeping clean. Look, we've kept 6 clean sheets out of our last 8. 6 clean sheets out of our last Champions League games, guys. I'm going to keep saying it because it's the only positive statistic that we have right now. But yeah, if I was to like predict a scoreline, but on paper, if I was to predict a scoreline based on the stats that I told you guys at the very beginning, I would say a 2-1. I would say a 2-1 to Spurs, based on the stats, based on the fact that we've scored 17 goals, and we've scored more goals than them. We've kept more clean sheets than them. We do concede goals as of late, but I'd back us 2-1. I'd back us 2-1. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Is that a crazy prediction? 2-1. When do you reckon we would finally sack Tudor? Is it after Liverpool or after Forest if we don't get a result? Well, the sources in the news were saying he's been given 4 games, so this would be the 4th. And I just think it's a tragic situation, guys. If you sack Tudor and you get in someone else before Liverpool, you're going to lose Liverpool, whoever the manager is. That's my humble opinion. And I know it's negative, but it's also realistic. And I just think that it literally doesn't matter who you have in for the Liverpool game. It doesn't matter who you have in for the Does it matter? Am I being negative? I don't think I'm being negative. I think I'm being realistic. You know, we never win at Anfield. Never. So is it better just to keep Tudor and then make the replacement after that? Because then at least the morale will be different for the next game. But either way, I think it's a lose-lose situation in terms of Liverpool. Every team at the moment, they're laughing at us, you know? And they'll be laughing at us even more if we get through the Champions League, I can tell you that. They will be laughing so hard at us if we get through the Champions League, because to them it's funny. To us, we're like, this is the best thing ever. We got through the Champions League. I can send you an invite to the red side of London. You're such a valued member. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Go away, Guna. Yeah, go away, Guna. Don't worry, Broadbean. I'm not going to the other side. Spurs don't know how lucky they are to have us. Save Richie for Liverpool. He loves playing them. Sure. Our striker is the only position that we can rotate, and our strikers do not get service. So it's the strikers I'm actually less concerned about. I'm not so concerned about our strikers. The striker situation I'm not concerned about. The situation that I'm concerned about is our attacking midfield, because we don't have one. We don't have an attacking midfield. Who is our attacking midfield? Mawani, Tel, and Xavi. It's like... yeah, sorry, Hutchinoli. You can recruit, but you're not recruiting me. Am I hopeful? Yeah, I told you. I asked my pendulum, and the pendulum said, we're winning. The pendulum said we're winning. It also said we're not getting relegated, so you can blame the pendulum. You can blame the pendulum. If anyone doesn't know what the pendulum is, you ask it a question, and the vibration, it will tell you yes or no. So it's like based on your maybe a science lesson for another time, but yeah, it's pretty accurate most of the time. Is Solanke or Richarlison more of an impact player? Probably Richarlison, I'd say. Maybe it depends whether you play them 2 up front. It all depends. This is the problem, guys. If Tudor is in a situation, I say problem, the challenge. There's no problems, there's challenges. But Igor Tudor, he doesn't know whether he's going to be here for the Liverpool game or not. So whoever you play, in this game is a do or die game. You play your best team. And I know some of the narrative around that is, well, you have to play some of the players who, you know, rest them so that you can play them in the next game. Well, as far as Igor Tudor is concerned, this could be his last game. So you might as well play your best players. Like, you might as well play your best players, because it's not his problem if he's not here next game. Do you know what I mean? Such a weird situation to be in. But if you're the manager, I'd give it the best shot that I can, and I'd play the best players. That's what I do. Thank you. Intelligence. Yeah, I don't know. You mean the leadership group? I can't remember what I said. You mean the watered down leadership? Yeah, there isn't too much leadership. I don't know. Guys, if you want to support the channel, please do like, subscribe, comment, share, super chat. If we get to 10 super chats, I'm going to do a post-match tomorrow live. Probably at like 10:30 at night, but hey, why not? I don't think Spurs will get relegated. That's optimistic of you, Jordan. I hope you're right. Fans are acting as if Spurs have been relegated. Some of our fans are, yes. I think the reality hit us last game, if I'm completely honest, because I think Palace was probably one of our most likely games that we had coming up that we were most likely to win. So is the presser on? Don't know if the presser's on. But yeah, look, that's the sentiment, because based on the trajectory, we've lost our last 5 games. We're the only team in the Premier League who haven't won a game this season. So I think most fans are probably forgiven for the facts, forgiven for thinking that way. Well, not forgiven, but, that's the reality of where we are. Newcastle, the German wants away. Reputation of La Liga is on the line. Maybe that brings added pressure to Atletico Madrid. Maybe. Look, Igor Tudor has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. One sec. He has nothing to lose. He will get paid out either way. Igor Tudor will get paid out either way. He will get paid out if we stay up, if we go down. He's going to have had an agreement with the club, So as far as he's concerned, he probably doesn't really mind either way, Thank you. Thank you. Why is that popped up again? I just got to that. Enjoying the channel. Thank you so much, Dan. We are a third of the way there. Let's say that. We are a third of the way there. Yes, live stream tomorrow. Okay, I found out where we are. Thanks, guys, for the super chats. Very much appreciated. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hopefully, we can all get some therapy after this. Fans acting like relegate, yeah, because the media has instilled a negative outlook. Still 9 games to play and things can change quickly. That being said, I don't feel very confident. Yeah, I do agree. I think the media play a huge part in writing the narrative. Of course they do. And to them, look, Tottenham is making front page headline news. And I'm not even talking about sports headline news. And when I said in my rant the other day that we're making headline news for all the wrong reasons, we are literally making global world headline news, not just sports headline news. Like, that is how monumental it is. How many times do you see a football club take the headlines of a national newspaper? I mean, BBC were doing national coverage on it. So look, as much as it is a case of Spurs fans losing faith a little bit, we're going off what we're seeing. We are going off with what we're seeing. And as I said, I'm positive, and I go to the games and we get all excited. We get all fired up. And I did my video on fighting talk, and then you go and watch the game, and within 5 seconds, it's like, no. But anyway, let's not talk about the doom and gloom of the Premier League. Let's talk about the Champions League. Let's talk about the Champions League. Please. Give us some hope for next season. Yeah, that's what we've heard. That was reported on The Athletic, and I did mention that on the channel the other day as well. And that apparently was for all players, no exceptions. There was no exclusions, apparently. apparently. And this is why I was saying maybe Romero is so frustrated, because he was one of those players that might have signed the contract and then they told him they were going to reinforce the squad and spend 150 million, and then they didn't. So then can you blame Romero for coming out 3 times in the past 4 months? For getting red cards, for getting frustrated. You know, all these players' frustrations come from the top because the top haven't delivered on the promises. They haven't delivered on their promises, you know, to us as fans as well. That's why we're all disgruntled by it, you know, and I'm still going to the games. I'm a gold member, for God's sake. My Atletico Madrid ticket was on an auto pay. So it was just automatically renewed. Like you just pay it and you go to the game. So I changed from a silver member last year because I was like, oh, we won the Europa Cup. So I changed, and then obviously we got rid of Ange. So, you know, this last year we were, after the Europa League, we were like, let's book Budapest, you know, season 3 is better than season 2. Well, there is no season 3 other than maybe an Amazon Prime documentary in 2 seasons time. Yes, yeah, championship physicality, lacks refereeing, a medical department will make promotion difficult. Yeah. No, it's because it's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Vicario's confidence has dropped for some reason. Look, I say some reason, it's a vicious cycle. We all know it's a vicious cycle, but for some reason, maybe in Atletico Madrid, it'll be different. If he has a worldie and he keeps a clean sheet in Atletico Madrid, I don't know what I'll do. I'll eat my hat. It's just crazy talk, but it could be a possibility. We will get compensation if Romero or Van der Ven leave. The shame of it is we shouldn't have the ambition required, so we never have to be in this position. The thing is, guys, like we say how good they are. We say how good they are, but are they really that good, Van der Ven and Romero? Like, they finished 17th last year. I mean, I know the counter argument to that is that they weren't part of the squad for a lot of the season. I don't know. I think it's just a lost cause. I think it's just a lost cause and you have to start again. What time is the FA Cup draw? Don't know. Don't care. Don't care about the FA Cup. We're not in it. Oh, thanks for your support. See, you Arsenal fans, you really do love us. So, Matt, I don't know if you've just joined, but I was saying before, Susan was saying that maybe Van der Ven did that move because he didn't have any trust in our goalkeeper. And I tend to agree with that. I never really thought of that perspective, but I tend to agree with it. Yeah, we all hate Arsenal. We all hate Arsenal. They can't live without us. Guys, they can't live without us. Obviously, they can't live without us. Look, it would be the same for us. It would be the same for us if Arsenal got relegated. It would be exactly the same for us. We'd be like, oh, Chelsea's the new Derby, but it's not the same. It's not the same. The Premier League is not the same without Liverpool and Everton and your City and your United and the London Derby. It's not the same. It's not the same. So, guys, should we do some predictions? Should we do some predictions? I mean, I gave you guys my prediction 2-1. I've lost the chat, though. So I predicted a 2-1. My lineup, I've kind of altered my lineup. So for those of you just joining, that was my lineup, but we have since altered the lineup. So the lineup now, I put in, who was it? It was Gallagher instead of Paulinho. And Dominic Solanke instead of Sarr. Those were the two changes from my predicted lineup that I put in. And potentially, I'd love to see Richie, but I think he's going to go with Moani. So I'm sticking with the 3-4-2-1. I'm sticking with it just because I don't know why. Because Atletico Madrid play 4-4-2. So I don't know why, but if this is a 4-4-2 formation, this is one of those situations where it will suit the game better, but it won't work in our favor because our players are going to be out of position. So either way you spin it, it's a 50-50. Kudus coming back soon will be huge for us. I'd say Kulusevski coming back for us would be even bigger. Kudus, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced about Kudus at all. I've got to be honest. I'm not convinced about him. What did he do for us when he was playing? What did he do for us? The only thing he has is the fight because he played for West Ham. So the only thing that Kudus has is fight. But I would say I'd rather Kulusevski back in the squad. Although Kulusevski has been out for so long now. He's been out for over a year. And it takes a while for players to get back to full form, to get back to full fitness. So for all of these players, it might take a while, considering they're all long-term injuries. Kudus has been out for like 6 months. It's a long time to be out for a player. You've got to get back to form. You've got to get back your injury. All these things for these players, they've got to get back up to speed, back up to scratch. If anything, I think it's good to have these leaders in the dressing room, because we definitely don't have much leadership in the dressing room. But in terms of, is he going to be huge? I think you need a bit more than Kudus to lift the squad. My opinion. But let me know what you guys think to that. Maybe you think that Kudus would change our season or turn it around. If anything, it would give us balance on the right, but it is very risky still, because if he's still coming back for injury, he's not going to be able to play a full 90 minutes. So you're going to have to play 2 formations or someone out of position. And who was it? Was it Sheringham? I think it was it Sheringham or Sherwood? One of them was saying that, I think it was Sheringham, that they're putting square pegs in round holes. But this is the pack that you've been dealt. These are the players that you've been given. Imagine, I don't know who, but resting players in Champions League to focus on relegation fight in the Prem on the heels of the Europa win. There's no club like us in the world. That is for true. There is only one Tottenham Hotspur. There's only one Tottenham Hotspur, and we wouldn't change it for the world, because we support our club. We support our club. Delusion. Absolute delusion. Blind faith. Call it what you want. Oh, no, I didn't. That's what I was talking about, Steve. Did you see the players' official video of the team boarding the plane earlier? I didn't. They all looked happy, probably thinking another thrashing incoming. Do you know what? I saw them all laughing in the training, and there were people commenting on the video saying how bad it was and how dare they laugh. I like the fact that they were laughing. I like it. I think you need that. I think you need to enjoy yourself when you're playing these games. And if the players are not enjoying themselves, you're not going to see free-flowing football. You've got to enjoy. Look, at the end of the day, they play football because they love it. It's a high-pressure environment, but they love it. So you've got to enjoy it as well. There's no point playing a game if you're not up for it, if you're not enjoying it. What's the point? Thanks, Queen Ellie. Guys, we have 3 super chats. If we get to 10, I'm going live tomorrow. Just saying. Although I think we're a bit way off it, but Moani has 5 goal assists in the Champions League. He does. Yep. Maybe Moani starts. He is going to start, isn't he? Moani is going to start. Of course he's going to start. Teams don't learn from Amorim. Teams need to play 4 at the back. Even Fark changed to 4 at the back and Leeds started winning. Crystal Palace don't play 4 at the back. And also, Hutchinoli, however you pronounce it. We don't have a fit left back. So we don't have a fit left back. And Porro has been injured. Porro's first game back from injury was last game or the game before that. So Porro's also been out injured. So we haven't had a back line. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. We have two right now in the Premier League. We have 2 defenders on red cards. So our 2 centre backs on red cards, and Dragusin was injured. So I don't know, from outside looking in, maybe other clubs are like, what the hell are they doing? And managers are looking on this, like, as in managers that want the job, like Redknapp, like Sheringham, like Tim Sherwood, all of these managers that are throwing their hat in the ring to come and save Spurs. And they're like, oh, we won't put square pegs in round holes. Well, look at the state of the squad. It's absolutely decimated. So look, kudos to any manager that can come in and get a tune out of these players, because it's as much mindset as it is, playing the right tactics. I don't know if Kudo is coming back or not. It could be we never see Decky, Madders and Kudus and Spurs shirt. I think if we get relegated, I think Maddison stays. I think Maddison stays. Tough call, but I think Maddison stays. Bit like Lampard, Sometimes when you go into those situations, it's those players who are maybe a bit more experienced or on the back end of their career who maybe wouldn't get such a good move now. He's not in the England squad. Maybe he's part of the fight. But I reckon Maddison is one of the players that would stay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too hopeful. Kudus is amazing. Poor players around him. Kudus also came from West Ham. Just saying. Look, guys, we have a bunch of players who came from clubs that are in the bottom half of the table. Richie came from Everton. Solanke came from Bournemouth. Kudus come from West Ham. Odeberg came from Burnley. Maddison come from Leicester. Like, look at where you're buying. Look at where your talent pool is. Look at where you're buying from. We're not even buying. We're not even buying from the cities. We didn't even buy Oscar Bob. We are literally buying from bottom teams. That's what's happened here. And as a consequence of that, that is the level. That is the mentality level of the players. Forget skill level. That's the mentality level of these players. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, because look, I think the Premier League is filled with very, very good players. But the whole narrative from the perspective of we've been told that from the board that we are competing across all fronts and you want to win the Premier League, which is just outrageous. Like, you can't be buying like that, It depends what your goals are. And if your goal is to progress, then it's not really helpful to be buying from championship clubs, is it? And I'm not saying those teams are championship clubs, but then we bought Archie Gray from Leeds. So, and I mean, Mickey van der Ven didn't exactly come from, the best team either, Oh, we've got some confidence building. Yes, guys, I said to get your match predictions. No one wants to give a match prediction. That's why I'm not seeing any in the chat. Or maybe people are joining. If you're jumping in, please do like, subscribe, comment, share the stream, all of that stuff, because it helps the channel. But looks like some people are getting a bit of confidence. And I would take a draw. I would take a draw all day long in this first leg. If the second leg, we go and play at home and we get our 25th unbeaten game. Isn't Bergvall and Udogie coming back too? Yes, potentially. Potentially. So according to the news, Odeberg is out until the end of 2026. Maddison back in June, so he's not going to be playing this year. Kulusevski back in May. Bentancur back in May. Kudus back in April. Ben Davis back in April. Bergvall back in April. That's the 11th of April. So that is after... That's before Sunderland. Sunderland's the 12th. But it looks like, based on the latest updates, that they won't be back for Forest. So it looks like they'd be back after the international break. So that was Kudus, Davis, Bergvall. Udogie supposedly back the 15th of March, which would be for the Liverpool game. But I wouldn't even want to play Udogie in the Liverpool game, to be honest. Romero's also back for the Liverpool game. Jed Spence potentially back tomorrow, and Dragusin back tomorrow. So, yeah, you're looking at 3 players back after the international break. Kudus, Davis, and Bergvall. Those are the 3. Those are the 3. The others I would just count out. So... And that's the thing, guys. That is the thing. Whether you stay up or go down, they're probably not even going to replace Odebear, and Odebear's going to be out until December. And that's the thing. You need to reinforce the squad if you've got players who are going to be out for 6 months. Like, if they knew in January that Odebear was going to be out for an entire year, they should have brought in a right winger. What is this club doing? It drives me mad. But yeah, I'm just looking now. So if those players come back after the international break, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left after the international break. So most likely you give Tudor the Liverpool game, you give him the second leg of Atletico Madrid. 4 days later, you have Forest. So it's a very tricky situation from a planning perspective. But honestly, guys, I think the board just don't know who to hire. I think the board do not know who to hire. And do you know why I think that? I think if they knew who to hire, they would have already hired them. They would have already sacked Tudor, and they would have already hired them. The truth is, there is no one out there that can fix the problem. There's no one out there. No one wants the job, except for all of our ex-managers who are throwing their hat in the ring. Crazy. Oh dear. Right, match predictions. What we got? What we saying? What are we saying on the match predictions? Yeah. Yeah, Maddison. Yeah, I think Maddison will stay if we get relegated. I've said it. And also, yeah, he's not in the England squad. I'm just having a look. I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just having a look if any other team news has come out, but it hasn't. So we'll all have to sit tight on that one. We'll have to sit tight on that one. United bought in Buemo and Cunha from small Prem sides and are third. United do not have Champions League, Europa League football. They don't have Champions League football. They're playing once a week. And also, arguably, they bought the best talent from those teams. Like, I don't know. Was maybe Odebear? Maybe Odebear was Burnley's best player. Maybe Odebear was Burnley's best player. Maybe Richarlison is on that league. I don't know. Richie's at the end of his career. Like, we bought all these players and they're at the end of their career. So it's a slightly different situation. Isn't Mbeumo like in his prime? I don't know how old he is. Yeah, Mbeumo's 26. And Mbeumo and Cunha, they're both 26. So you've got to think about like squad planning as well. Like, I think what United have now got right is they reinvested in the squad in January, but they also brought in players that could build on the squad that they've got. Whereas we bought in Odegaard when he was 19 from Burnley. So it's a very different situation. You're not buying ready-made players who are the best talent in their squads that they were in before. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Like my knowledge on footballers and their careers and all of their CVs. I don't know all of that information, but just looking at our squad, the players that have come through in recent times, they haven't been in their prime, So I would have taken Mbeumo, I would have taken Cunha, but we didn't buy them. That's the whole point. We didn't buy Semenyo. We didn't buy any of these players. And that's the problem at Spurs. We bought Gallagher, who sat on the bench at Atletico Madrid. He's 26, but even Chelsea didn't want him. So I don't know. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Right, guys. Yeah, I agree. Enoch don't know what they're doing. If not Poch, then Roberto De Zerbi. Sure. I don't think De Zerbi lasts long. I think he's got an unpredictable temperament, and you've got to have the kind of manager who's going to get along with the board. But what is the face of the board going to look like next year? What is the face of this board going to look like? I just do not want to see Lange at this club anymore. Or if Lange stays and does like the youth projects, we need someone better in for a sporting director. And obviously we've been linked to a few of those over the last few days, but until we know where we are going to be next year, I don't know. Yep, I absolutely agree with you, Paul. No evidence the protests work. Owners sell when the price is right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course they sell when the price is right. I'm tired of seeing Tim banging on about how he'd do better at Spurs on every sports channel, considering here. Look, guys, everyone is always an expert until they come at Tottenham. No? Looking from the outside in, we all play, football manager, all of us, every single one. We all rearrange the squad. We all try and make it work. But the reality is, it is maybe too little too late because they didn't reinforce the squad. So, yeah. I think you need a Spurs man in. If you're going to get a manager, you need a Spurs man in. You need someone who knows this club, who's going to be loyal to us, and you need the board to back the project. I'm just so sick of us doing this whole manager merry-go-round thing and nothing changes because nothing changes. Like, we don't spend the money needed. We need to be spending more on players. It's not necessarily just about spending big money. It's about spending big money in the right way. You need to have a project. You need to stop making club signings. You need to have a system and stick to it. This is the problem. Every single manager that wants to come in now, there is no structure. There's no system. Right. There are very few match predictions here. Maybe you guys don't want to make the match predictions. So let's not do one. Oh, here we go. There are a few match predictions. 2-2. Then Spurs win the second leg. I'll take that. 2-0 Spurs, goal in each half. I will take that as well. 3-0 to Atletico if we're very lucky. If we're lucky. Oh, you want us to go out so we don't get relegated, so it's not a distraction. Maybe. I think you just want to stay in it, but maybe. Prediction 2-2. Prediction 2-2. 3-1 to Atletico. If we put up a fight. You guys betting on us to lose. Oh dear, the number of times I've predicted us that we're going to win. And it's ended up in a loss. The only game, if I'm predicting a win the rest of this season, it's going to be for this game. So I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm predicting 2-1 Spurs. 1-1, hopefully confidence building draw. Yeah, I think it would build us a bit of confidence. Who have Liverpool got? Liverpool are playing tonight. They play. Who's Liverpool playing? They're playing Galatasaray tomorrow. Liverpool playing Galatasaray tomorrow. It's all right. Do you know what? I'd kind of be all right if West Ham go through the FA Cup tonight. I'd rather West Ham beat Brentford tonight because then it gives them extra games. That's the game that's on tonight, 7:30. Yeah, Newcastle are playing Barcelona tomorrow. What other match predictions did we have? I think that was it. Oh no, we have a few more. 1-2 as Atletico Madrid don't have the best record against English teams. I so hope you're right. 4-3 win. 4-3 win. I mean, maybe, but we tend not to concede so many goals. If we lost 4-3, the only team that we've lost more than like two, no, hang on. PSG is the only team to have beaten us so far in the Champions League this year. So do you guys remember the game against Dortmund, which was after the West Ham game? And Frank was like shocked. Like in the first 10 minutes, he was like, what is going on? He was like, who are these players? He was like shocked at how they came out. I feel like Tudor's going to have a face like that tomorrow. He's going to be like, whoa, this is not the same team. This is crazy. Because it's just two different teams. It's mad. But 4-3, yeah, look, that's your prediction. I'm just not convinced that we're actually going to concede 3 goals. We've conceded 5 against PSG, but other than that, I don't know. I don't know if Atletico are as good as PSG. 2-0 to Atletico, 3-1 to Atletico. I can't see us bouncing back, so close to many demoralizing defeats. 5-0 for Atleti. Oh, M. Laden. Oh, dear. That's okay, though. If we go out, we go out. 2-1 and Mickey pulls his hammy. Oh, don't, Daryl. Don't. Please don't. Do you know what, actually? It wouldn't make much difference because he's suspended for the next game against Liverpool anyway. Atletico have been consistently decent. Only lost to Barcelona recently. I can't see a win from us. I think 2 or 3-1. Just looking. Yeah, well, they drew against Club Brugge. So maybe. Miracle happens. We win 7-0. That's realistic, Dominic, isn't it? Win the Champions League final and Hollywood make a film blockbuster from it. I can't see it happening, but Levy's gone now. They don't want any more money from blockbusters, clearly. Season 3, mate. Fancy a high score draw, 2-2. Don't know if that's a high score draw, but I'd take a 2-2. You just know Lookman will do some damage to us. Just need to stay in the tie. Yeah, that's it. You just need to stay in the tie. If we lose by 1 goal, I think there's a chance that we can do something at home. And I know that sounds ridiculous because we've lost so many games at home, but Champions League nights, guys, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they are absolutely nothing like the Premier League. We have 2 different supporter bases, and the supporter base for the Champions League is very much more optimistic at the actual games itself. And guys, if you want to go to the game and you are in the UK, you know, it's a Category C game. So buy a ticket to the game because it's a Category C game, which means the tickets are 50 quid or something like that. So look, if you're in or around the UK, I'm not plugging tickets or anything. I'm not on commission or anything, but you know, if you're not going to be in the Champions League for a very, very long time and you want to experience a Champions League atmosphere and the one at home might be the last one, then after this game, maybe you want to make a decision whether you go. Anyway, 7-0 sounds reasonable. Yeah. Aiming high. Well, Delulu is the Salulu over here at Tottenham Hotspur, isn't it? Right, guys. I am checking out for this evening. Well, we only got 3 super chats, so I don't know if I'll come on live tomorrow. Let's see how the game goes. If it's optimistic, I'll think about it. But we'll see how the game goes. And if not tomorrow, I will most likely maybe do Wednesday. Let's see how we go. So guys, enjoy the game tomorrow. Maybe I'll post a little bit of content out to you just to say as well, I did do it on the community tab. So on the match day vlog against Crystal Palace, someone rewrote the lyrics. Actually, I'll tell you who it was. Josiah rewrote the entire lyrics of Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran to the situation that's going on at Tottenham Hotspur. It ended when your team don't play like they used to before, and Kane and Sod are already gone. Used to have ballers, now everybody is poor. Watching Mawani, he can't even score. Anyway, it's a very long lyrics, but it inspired me to do a post on the community tab because everyone right now has a song that's playing in the back of their minds about Tottenham Hotspur. So I started a thread on the community tab, which is basically asking if you had to summarize the song that summarizes how you're feeling right now, what would it be? So feel free to go over there because it is giving me a bit of a laugh, and maybe I should start a playlist about what songs remind us of Spurs. Mine was Dido, White Flag. Not White Flag. Is it called White Flag? Yeah, I will go down with the ship, put my hands up and surrender. That's how I feel. But yeah, we all have a song that's looping around in our heads. So yeah, and just to say before I drop off, please do like, subscribe to the channel because it's definitely helping. And we appreciate you supporting the channel. So guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Yes, big up to you all for joining, for spending your afternoon with us. Fingers crossed we can get a win tomorrow because we need some wins, and I'd love to be doing a debrief from the game, which is a positive one. So Xavi Worldy, Mawani Worldy, 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. That is my prediction. I hope I'm right. Championship football, Champions League, who the hell knows what's going to happen, but if we can stay up in the Premier League, I would be so happy. So let's see how we go tomorrow. All right, guys, have a lovely evening. I'll see you all tomorrow, maybe after the game. Let's see how we go. Have a good evening or day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.